Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Rich and this is Savage Supercars. Today's video is going to be all about the history of the Dodge Challenger, one of my favourite cars, and quite a bit of history to the car. There'll be some images to follow to show you what we're talking about, up to the latest model, the new Hellcat Red Eye. Before we start, I just want to hope that you're all staying safe. It's a very difficult time. I know we'll all get through this, and hopefully at the end of it we'll start going out doing some proper driving videos. I know that's what you guys want to see, so please stay safe. Okay, so today's video we want to talk about the Dodge Challenger and the history of that amazing car. This follows on from Ford's success of the Ford Mustang in the mid-60s to the 70s. Dodge wanted to jump on the bandwagon. They wanted a everyday muscle car for people. So it started out in 1970, and there were 3 specifications available with this original car. The base model was available as an inline 6 or a V8, giving 240 brake horsepower from a standard car from the dealership, which is amazing. And even now, the looks are extremely desirable. What they did was they brought in some better spec models and better engine models as well as the base model. So the RT, which is quite well known, RT stands for road track, and this had the famous Magnum V8 giving 335 brake horsepower. They also brought out the Trans Am, the TA model, which was used part of the Sports Club of America, running a D-stroked version of the RT with tweaked suspension and bigger air scoops, giving better airflow. And this actually generated an extra 15 brake horsepower, so it took it up to 350 brake against the RT. A really, really popular model. Now, these models ran until 1973. I know there were some slight changes. They remained pretty much standard until the next model change came, which ran from 73 to 74. Now, in America at this time, there was a major fuel crisis, so that Chrysler and Dodge had to do something about what they were selling. There was a big impression on fuel economy and the cost of fuel generally. So the fuel economy had the fuel crisis had a massive image effect on the car, and they had to reduce the engine sizes, which we'll go into. The numbers were sold were quite significant on the earlier models, but nothing compared to Ford. The Ford Mustang outsold everything at the time, but they still had some good success with it. So the 1970 car sold 76,935 cars, and that was split between hardtop and convertible. In 71, they had a big drop in numbers. They still sold 26,299 cars, again in both hardtop and convertible. In 72, that had dropped down to 22,919. And by 73, it got up a little bit to 27,930. But in 74, hardtop only, they only sold 11,353 cars, so it's significantly dropping in numbers. And that's pretty much when they stopped it in 1974. We fast forward to 1978, which they brought out the second generation. So 1978 to 1983. And this is when basically Mitsubishi took over with the Chrysler. So that although it was a Challenger, it was known as the Mitsubishi Galant Lambada Coupe, also known as the Challenger. The very, very early versions were known as the Mitsubishi. You also had the Sapporo and the Scorpion, but they were still sold through Dodge dealers, and it was still known as the Challenger. The Dodge Colt Challenger was its original name. These cars were not really desirable. Even today, they're not desirable. They're not classed as a muscle car that everybody wants in their collection, but they're still part of the history and the heritage of the Dodge Challenger. So we've got some images there to show you the difference in car. Now, these cars came with 2 much smaller engines. They had a 1.6 litre engine, which was 77 brake, and they had the top of the range 2.6 litre engine with 105 brake, which is massively away from the original Challengers of the early 70s with a sort of 335 and 350 brake engines. And they didn't have the look and the styles either. There just wasn't a popular car. It wasn't a popular car in the day, and it still isn't a collectible car now. And they stopped producing that in 1983, and that was the end of the Challenger from 1970 right through to 83. Then we fast forward to 2005, and this is where the history really starts to change, and the modern car now is the same car that you can see the generation changes, but it still has that original iconic look, the rear lights, the stance. They've gone back to what made Chrysler so good back in the day, the Challenger. So in 2008, even now to the present day, although there's a few facelifts, it's the same base car that they had before. So originally, the entry-level car was a 3.5 litre V6, giving about 250 brake horsepower, which was massively improved on the previous Mitsubishi version. However, it wasn't long before they jumped on the bandwagon that everyone else was doing, and they brought out a 6.1 litre V8, giving 425 brake horsepower. And when this hit the market, it was sold out absolutely everywhere by storm. In fact, Canada had a prerequisite of 6,400 cars, and they were all sold before pre-production. So there wasn't a car available via Canada. They'd all been sold out before it was even being manufactured. The model was the base one with the SRT 8, which was the top of the range at the time. And then in 2014, there's a few upgrades, a few model changes. They brought out the Rally Special Edition, the Challenger 500 Special Edition, as well as the 100th Anniversary Edition for Dodge, which was a really, really impressive car. And it bumbled along quite nicely. But then in 2015, this is where the Dodge Challenger really became a big game changer. Okay, they brought out the SRT 392 and the SRT Hellcat, and this is where it all changes. The SRT 392 had 485 brake from its 6.4 V8, standard car. Now what happened was the SRT Hellcat was produced with a 707 brake horsepower from a supercharged 6.2 litre engine. And this really, really moved the goalposts for Dodge, the Dodge Challenger. It was available with a wide body kit from the dealer, which was an option well worth ticking, and completely changed the look, the sound, and the ability of the car, performance-wise and popularity. And these cars weren't expensive. We're talking sort of $50,000, $60,000 for the Hellcat. So it wasn't a lot of money at the time compared to the Ford GT 350Rs and that kind of thing. That was until 2018 when Chrysler really took Dodge Challenger to the next level. They'd been messing about separately, doing individual packages, and they brought out the Demon. Now the Challenger Demon was a 6.2 V8 engine, but it also had a 2.7 litre supercharged, giving it 808 brake horsepower direct from the main dealer. 808 brake horsepower. It's the fastest production saloon car at the time in America from dealership without being tweaked or anything like that. Now the Demon really, really brought a different game to the whole market. Ironically, there's two fascinating facts about the Demon when it first came out. So the list price of the car was about $79,400. It only came with one seat. It was only available with one seat, i.e. obviously the driver's seat. But for $1 more, you could add the rest of the seats. You could have the back seats and the passenger seat for an extra $1. For the next interesting part, for another $1, you could buy a Demon crate. Now, this Demon crate was massive. It changed everything. So apart from changing the front wheels to skinny front wheels, specifically for drag strip racing, it came with a PCM, a powertrain control module, which changed everything completely. Had a low resistance air filter. Had high octane racing switch to switch from standard fuel. You could have a carbon fiber instrument panel badge, different wing mirrors, deleted wing badges, tyre pressure gauge with the Demon logo on them, had different tools as well, and it came with everything so you could do it yourself. If you're reasonably mechanically minded, on your driveway or at the track, you could switch from the standard Demon to the race prepared drag strip Demon, which is what it was all about, and that was all for $1. So for an extra $2, you could have all the seats and you could have the Demon crate. And this was the first production car from a main dealer that could do a wheelie from standing start. So from 0 to 60, the power was so immense, and I'll show you a video afterwards where the front wheels came off the track with the power delivery. It was just absolutely immense. It was just crazy. And the Demon was a limited number, so the Hellcat was their top model, and the Demon was a special edition limited number, and they all sold pretty much straight away. You can't get hold of a brand new Demon now for love nor money. So Dodge realised they needed to do something. So in 2019, they brought in their benchmark top of the range, and this is an ongoing model. This isn't something that's just limited. This is something that's ongoing, and this was the SRT Hellcat Red Eye. So following on from the discontinuation of the Demon, the Red Eye was developed to fill the void, especially a heavily upgraded Hellcat. It's equipped with a less powerful, due to its smaller hood intake, Demon engine with a supercharged 6.2 V8 with 797 brake horsepower and 707 foot-pound of torque. That's absolutely ridiculous. 797 brake horsepower. Other upgrades included the new ZF 8-speed automatic transmission and track tune suspension. So massively made a difference from the original Hellcat and bringing it in line with what was the Demon. You know, the Demon was 808 brake horsepower. This is 797, so there's not a lot of difference in that. The Hellcat Red Eye also comes as an option with the wide body pack, which makes a massive difference as well. Flared arches, front splitter, rear spoiler, suspension tweaks as well, stiffened anti-roll bars. The whole model completely changes. So if you're looking at a Hellcat Red Eye, you definitely want to be looking at one with the wide body kit. It makes a complete difference. Now in America, these are about $80,000, so about £65,000. So it's still not a lot of money for a car that's got 797 brake horsepower from standard. It doesn't have to be run on special octane fuel. It can be run on standard unleaded fuel. You don't have to mess about with tyres to enjoy the drive every day. Now, I would probably say the build quality of the plastics inside isn't as good as the German equivalent, but you're not buying it for that. You're buying it for nearly 800 brake horsepower sledgehammer road car. It's absolutely crazy. I love the Hellcat Red Eye. Absolutely love it. It's absolutely amazing, and it's currently still available. So it's definitely a car, although it's not sold directly in the UK. You've got to get it through probably somebody like Clive Sutton, or try and get it imported yourself. But the Dodge Hellcat Red Eye is definitely a car that I would love to see on the channel. You get so much ground from it, seeing what people, expressions in their face when they don't realise, you know, you can carry 5 people, you can go shopping, you can take golf clubs. But when you put your foot down, the car, the power delivery, it is sledgehammer power. It's absolutely amazing car. I absolutely love it. I think it's a huge, huge bargain. I'm a huge Mustang fan, but I've got to tell you, the Hellcat Red Eye really pushes my buttons, and I definitely would want to see one on the channel if one came across. So, you know, there's lots of availability there with the Hellcat Red Eye, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a small overview of the history of the car. But the classic early 70 cars are still really desirable, and there's lots of things you can do with it. Not to be mistaken by the Charger. Obviously, the Dodge Charger in the 70s was really, really famous and well known. And even now, they still make the Charger, but it's a 4-door saloon rather than a 2-door. But it's still available. And in fact, the Hellcat Charger is sold in America exclusively for police and emergency services. It's not a car you can buy from the dealer. It's sold for like intelligence agencies, FBI, CIA, that kind of thing. So it looks like a sleeper car, as does the Challenger. But if you know what you're looking at, that car's got some serious power. So guys, I hope you enjoyed a bit of a brief history about the Dodge Charger and the Dodge Challenger, sorry. I absolutely love it. The Hellcat Red Eye is definitely a car for us on the channel. Really, really love it. Love the power of it. Love what it's capable of doing. Thanks for all the love on the channel, guys. We really, really appreciate it. We really love your support. Please push the subscription button. Please push the notification button. You know, we'll get as many videos out as we can. Obviously, we can't go out and do the driving videos at the moment in this difficult climate. Things will change. We will get out there. We've got a lot of cars to test drive on the channel this year. Got a lot of exciting stuff coming ahead. I'm getting emails and phone calls all the time from people inviting us to go and have a look at their cars and test drive their cars for the channel. So lots of exciting stuff ahead. But please, please, please push and subscribe. Tell all your friends. We're a new channel. We need all your love and support. We really do appreciate what you guys are doing. So thanks for watching. Please stay safe. We will see you soon. Take care, guys.